Hello, hello. Welcome to a Saturday edition of the Maga Report. We usually go live every day with a nightly, but it's kind of a busy week, lots going on. So we're going to catch up some this weekend on some of the goings on. And we had a lot of things we were trying to get designed into. A lot of work behind the scenes, as we say. I hope everybody is well, having a great weekend, enjoying this uh, great Saturday. I was going to say beautiful. It's been a little rainy, but hey, rain's beautiful too. Uh, Dave the AM, aka the Cornbread Man. Hey, don't forget, Patriot Mobile is your destination for your cell phone providing needs. It's a great company. I wouldn't say that if I didn't believe it. They are absolutely amazing. We'll play a commercial in a little bit for them. We've been in contact with them this weekend. They do watch sometimes the streams, and we appreciate them checking on us and making sure we have what we need. They provide everything we need in this partnership. All we add is our own passion and the time, and they're just an amazing group. We're excited to be a part of the Patriot Mobile family. You can keep your same platform now if it's T-Mobile or Verizon or AT&T, and actually you can swing between different ones depending on what works best for you in the area you're at. They also have a great referral program. They just started in June. $50 off your bill for every referral, or $50 towards the purchase of a new phone each and every time you do that. Also, if you use promo code Cornbread, which is our promo code, you're going to get the first month free. Then in addition to that, they're running some specials right now to even get the activation fee wiped away. Amazing time to join. Make the switch today to Patriot Mobile. And it's not just a company. This is not just about business, although sure it's business. This is a company that is America first. They put it right out there. They don't hide. They stand right behind the First and Second Amendment. They are pro-life. How many companies you see standing for that today? And they have no problem. In fact, they are proud to talk about their faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. Only business meeting I ever had where Jesus was front and center, and that was a blessing. They're amazing. They love the country. They love the history. They put out reports through the week. Looks like Mammoth Nation, another great affiliate that we have. Mammoth Nation, where you get all those great deals going through their portal into these other America First valued companies where we spend money here first. You know, somebody tried to accuse us of promoting communism. What a loon. Saying that because we promote the flag, that all flags are made in China, so we're promoting communism. Well, sir, you're an idiot, because there are American companies who make flags, and we use those. We have used those for years in different functions, celebration, and civic community activities that we've been involved with. Yes, they make flags in America too. People need to get educated before they start smacking their guns. They really don't know what they're talking about. Oh my goodness. Speaking of keeping your mouth shut, this ongoing feud between the President and Elon, it really needs to die out. It's not helpful for the nation. This war of the words, it's unfortunate. It needs to stop. And, you know, Elon, for all that he is capable of and done, he's going to lose here in the fact that he's not the president, and that there are people going to side with him, but most people are not. And now he's talking about starting, or he's thrown it out there, an idea of maybe starting a new political party, but just stick to making rockets and cars and everything else. Be glad of the work you've accomplished, the things you've got going, but this really is childish, and it needs to stop for both of you. I mean, honestly, it does not advance the cause of freedom. It does not advance American values. And you broke the cardinal sin, Elon. Never tear down the emperor. Never do that. You can say things behind the scenes. You can have your own personal opinions. You can even express those to the emperor, but don't go, don't do that. You don't do your boss that way. You don't go and publicly tear them down. You just don't do it. And you would think a person of his ability and education and intelligence and the things that he can do is pretty amazing. You would think that he would get that. But humans are humans. We make mistakes. It's time to put those aside. We've got bigger fish to fry, as they say here in the South, bigger fish to fry than these ongoing, childish disputes that we're airing out in public. Just take the high road. Take the high road air your grievances out behind the scenes, and let's move forward. This does not help the country. It just gives our enemies chance, opportunity to celebrate and look for opportunities to divide us. And we're not going to be divided. We've got a lot going on, major issues across the world, internally and externally for the nation. And this is really small potatoes. Of course, the media is going to jump on it. They're going to make it the #1 story. We have, as anybody that's following the news in the world knows, America's got their hands on a lot of stuff around the world. We've got our own problems here at home that we need to stay active in and find solutions for. No, they're not always easy. Solutions on this level are not easy. That's why everybody is not, not the leader. They're not easy solutions to these problems. These problems are hard. They're difficult. They're going to be tough to navigate. He has found that out. The president is finding that it's easy to be on the sidelines and say, "What if you had been there? What would have happened?" But when you're dealing with a country like Russia and another country like Ukraine and the leaders they have, he's finding out that's not easy, and he's admitted that he's tried, or well, through channels, he's admitted that he's tried everything he can to get Putin to the table. He's not interested, so he's got to do better in that world. Hey, Broski Bear, how you doing? Uh, I'm not a fan of Shilon. I never have been. I don't support electric cars of any kind. 2 questions: who punched Shilon? Does Shilon have a drug problem? Well, I don't know the question on the first or the second, but it's really amazing. Hey, Michael, it's really amazing how quickly this went from bromance to outlaw. It's like the Hatfield McCoys. And, no, I mean, you would think he's smarter than that to understand the base that supports the president. And, unless he's going to switch parties or support full-on leftist or whatever, this can't go well for him in this. And there are things that can happen that no matter how big you are, you could be sidelined to a degree. You just don't. It's not smart to do it. They always said in the old days it was always the old political, and it has changed. I get it, but business owners at one time tried to be very non-political, and they would make nominal contributions a lot of times to both parties, to both candidates, and they would say, "Listen, we're neutral. We're a business." Because they know somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose, and you wanted to remain relevant with whoever won. Of course, the division is so wide now, and they're so separated, business can't do that anymore. But there are still some unwritten codes and behaviors that you just don't do. And I don't think it's ever wise to full on, take on the president after you've been, especially Trump. It's just not wise. And well, there may be, but I can't. Sometimes I just say it like this. And good morning to you. Good morning to you, brother. And it is a good morning. Had some good things happen already this morning, so I'm happy for the day. You know, when you talk about human beings, and we know we make failures, and even the smartest and the richest and the most powerful, sometimes they just get in a temper tantrum. I mean, yeah, there could be some stuff going on behind the scenes, but they just don't like it. I mean, have you ever, I've had it happen. Let's face it, in my life, there's been times where I got caught up into disagreements and I let my temper get away with me. And I said things I wish I hadn't said. And it's like if you're not careful, you'll just keep digging that hole and putting yourself in it. And at some point, you have to just call a timeout and say, listen, I'm not going to comment on this anymore. And just, take it off the front pages. And I think that's something that would be wise. No, and Broski, no, I don't. From what I understand, I don't like every part of it, but I understand the long run, and I get that. There are things that concern me about it. But the one thing about it is the president is the president, and the party should support him unless they go off the rails. You know, he has a plan. He's been successful before, and he has invigorated the economy before. And he has set up trillions of dollars in deals. I'm going to trust his judgment on this and his people to get us where we need to go. We're already in a deep hole anyway. I mean, yeah, sometimes you do have to do things you don't like to get where you need to be. Uh, it's risky, I think, but there are lots of parts of it I like. There's some I don't. I think that's probably the way it is with every bill. There are parts of a bill I don't like. Here in Georgia, I don't know about every state, they call it making sausage when they bring a bill together and it gets other things attached to it. And people complain about that. And for all those that say we just take a single bill and vote it straight up and down, that is never going to happen. It sounds good. It's nice to get on a podcast or say it to people out in the public or even do a blog or whatever and say that, but it is never going to happen because politicians are never going to do that. Even the ones that say we should do that, they don't do it. It's just the way that it goes when they're making, because you can't pass a bill by yourself and you got to have a lot of help. And people are going to attach the pork. I get it. And so a lot of this is actually his. But I did see that he's not interested in, he's mad. And you got to have a cooling off period. And again, I would keep that out of the press. That's the problem here. When you got the press involved and these statements are being made across, the world, they have ramifications. And we just need to be a little united. Doesn't mean we can't have a disagreement, but, it would not surprise me that in the future to see them buddy or anyway, just as much as it wouldn't shock me if they didn't. But President Trump's got a long memory. But he has shown himself to be able to work with people that he didn't get along with before. And so there needs to be a little cooling off here. But some of the words that were used by Elon, uncalled for, and it's costing him more than it's costing the president right now. I definitely believe that. President Trump has to shoot from the hip. Sometimes he does. He's very good at pushing people off. His comments, sometimes he's playing them. He's really good at that too. Yes, it should have been handled in private. But, I have come to expect, because I'm a Trump supporter. I voted for him every time. But at the same time, just like in the early days before he got Truth Social and he was Twittering before they kicked him off, there were times I went, ouch, I wish he hadn't done that or said that. But along the way, you just figure somebody out, and that's just the way he is. And so he posts a lot. And sometimes he says things that I cringe at. But I've just learned to accept that's the way he is, and it's not going to change. And he's a street fighter in a lot of ways. And when you come at him, he's gonna give you what he's got. And he can be brutal that way. He's the kind of guy that can make you, as they say, make you cry. That's the kind of guy that can make you cry. I mean, he can come across as very cold, very hard. He says exactly what he thinks. He doesn't hold back. But it plays well. Oh, there was the Israeli American that got released. I don't know if you saw the interview with him, and he was talking about when President Trump got elected. How things changed by Hamas. They're scared of it. Look what he has supported. They're not annihilated, but they're not what they used to be. He has really taken them to the map through the Israelis, and a lot of people are mad about that. But he says they weren't afraid of others, but they were afraid of him, and they gave him proper food, they got him cleaned up, they treated him better, and that was the Trump effect. If you know a guy like that, there's some people they're just gonna run their mouth, and some people are saying that about him, about his dealings with Putin. I don't believe that. I believe or now Iran as well. I believe he's really trying to lead here. He's not a warmonger. If he was Lindsey Graham, we'd already be in World War III, to be honest. What he needs to do is tell Lindsey Graham to get the heck home and shut up. That's what he needs to do. But I think if push comes to shove, he has shown that he's willing to make the call. Take it to him, bomb them. But this is, when you're dealing with much bigger entities, we were talking about a superpower and their capability. I want to come back to Russia too. There's a little bit of news about them and some of their capabilities and stuff. I see Cash on Joe Rogan. He said his house was just. I didn't hear about that. I didn't see the interview yet, but I did hear about the swatting. How does the head of the FBI get swatted? The look at Cash and Danny Bombazaz is off. Something going on behind the scenes. They have not anywhere come close to being what I thought they would be. And honestly, I got to be honest here. I thought Bongino was a better pick than Patel. Something about Patel, and I'm not trying to be the Monday morning quarterback. There was part of that I really liked, and part of it, I don't know, something about him really concerned me. But I'm always willing to give the shot. The president believed in him, and I thought the Bongino pick was excellent to get him involved because he talks a big game, and maybe they're working on stuff, but man, we ain't seeing nothing. The ice lady has really reeled in President Trump. That's been his strongest point. Trump is focused on the world problems that he has been trying to avoid and get things done together because of winning. He has, and he has basically said he's got bigger things going on, wars, and he don't have time for Elon's games, basically. I would agree with that. And Elon, for all that he is or has been or whatever he is, he's not an elected official. He's not the president. He's not the vice president. He's not, he had a role to play. It was never supposed to be long term. You just hope that the part, in fact, a lot of people didn't like, they figure it, they don't like him. And they don't trust him. And now they're really not going to trust him, and they're really not going to like him because of things he's done. And I think that, early on there were some things he did that people really got on board with. They were behind, but there was a report, and I covered it weeks ago, where people were, a lot of people on the ground didn't care for Elon, his approach. He didn't connect. See, President Trump can go in the inner city. He can go to Harlem, and he can walk into a shop, and he can get along with those people, and it just drives leftists crazy. He can do that. He connects with people. Elon has a problem connecting with people. I don't know what it is exactly, but you hear that from people. They don't like him. Some people, and they don't connect with him, and they don't trust him. And some people love him. On the flip side of that, some people love him. They love his abilities. They think, he's a guy that can figure things out. He can get things done. And so but a lot of MAGA didn't really trust this guy after a certain point. Some didn't never like him. Some got on board with it, was really behind him. But he's burned his bridge now. I mean, you've went on and you tried to burn the president down. You can't but lose here. I mean, where is your support going to come from now if you're Elon? The Tesla owners? The leftists who you've already made mad? This is a bad move. This is as bad a move in a political way as the mercenary guy did with Russia. I mean, you had all the support and you turn on them. And it won't end like that because there's certain people not elected right now, or it would. To be honest, you know what I mean. But we knew that guy's days was numbered when he went against the emperor there. And it's the same thing here. And now he's wanting to, play nice. Well, Trump says, "Oh no, I don't need to talk to him right now. I got bigger things going on. I got wars and such as like that to deal with." He's just going to let him swim in his own mess right now, and it's not good for him. Now, again, there'll be some that will buddy with him. And I heard a great thing the other day, and I kind of used it here recently in a sermon. And I think it was T.D. Jakes spoke about it. and it was great. I was listening to it with a friend of mine at work. It's about 15 minutes long, and he said, "I really want you to hear this." And it talks about confidants, constituents, and comrades. And just real quickly, confidant is someone that'll be there with you all the way. They're there for you. They care about you. We might call that the best friend, the confidant. Somebody you tell something that they will never share. They'll take to their grave. You don't have many of those in your life. The constituent will go with you as long as you are going the direction that they want you to go. You can get something for them. If you change course or you have fulfilled what it is they're looking for, they're going to move on, because now it's you don't offer what they wanted or what they needed. You've changed, or the situation's changed, or it's fulfilled and now they have a new mission or whatever. Then the comrade doesn't like you. The comrade will use you against a common enemy, and when the common enemy is done away with, then they're done with you, because they never liked you. They were never there for you. The only reason they were there is because they were using you to help defeat something that they don't like. They don't like you just as much. They're a comrade. I thought it was a very nice little thing you put together there, and there's a lot of truth in that. And when you look at Elon now, who's he got? Who does he really turn to? Maybe that's why he's talking about establishing a new political party. Well, come on, bub. That's been tried before. And I know you're a billionaire, but MAGA's not going to support you, man. And the true left is never going to support. They don't like you either. So you're going to take in what? The independents, or people that are non-affiliated, or people that just are just followers of you? Who do you pull into your support base? I just don't think that's not a wise move. It takes years to cultivate some stuff, and not everybody can do that. I mean, the Tea Party had a nice kickoff, but it wasn't sustainable. MAGA's different. MAGA is very sustainable. It's not just President Trump, although he's attributed with that movement. It will continue to go on when he's off the scene. That will live on. I really believe that. What I've seen, Elon started with Scott Bassett, and it was the match that started the fire. Yeah, and now it's a full-on flame. Elon is a tech nerd. He's socially awkward. That's true, too, and he doesn't connect with the hard-working, blue-collar Americans. He just doesn't connect with those guys. And it is awkward. He's just odd at times. I mean, it's really strange. He didn't even feel comfortable. And some people criticize the way that he came in the Oval Office. Much like Zelensky in his little general uniform, some people didn't like the way, yeah, he lives in that kind of world where he is that tech nerd, and I get that. But, it was kind of like a weird deal. I just never felt like this was a long-term partnership. In fact, to me, from the very beginning, it felt kind of icky, kind of weird. And I don't know. You never heard me really promoting Elon. I would cover Doge. I would cover what Elon's doing. If you will look back, I didn't go against him, but I didn't really promote him either. I just covered the stories. I've never really cared for the guy, to be honest. I tried to give a chance, but in some of the things he was doing, the president didn't have anything to do with, and some of the things were Doge that he was driving. They made massive mistakes. They were traveling way too fast. They did find a lot of savings, but at the same time, nothing's been done. They just fired a bunch of people. They just laid them off, fired a bunch of people. Sometimes they had to bring those same people back because they fired the people that can do the job that nobody else could do. I mean, it's very well known that they ran off all the the people that handled the nuclear, a lot of the nuclear, and they had to make an emergency call to get those people back on the job. Thankfully, they came back. It was a bad move. It just didn't work. And a lot of people had this argument. We hired you, President Trump, to lead the nation. We didn't hire Elon Musk. We hired you. We elected you. We're supporting you. They're willing to give Elon a pass if the president's saying, Okay, I want to use this guy. He can be helpful to the nation. Da da da. But a lot of MAGA never liked nor supported that move, and now it's full on going to be hatred by many. And you're seeing that shellacking he's taking in posts and comments online. This guy he's burning bridges. And, when you're that rich, I guess you can build some new ones. I'm not going to say he can't be relevant or nothing like that, because he's he is who he is. But at the same time, if you think you're going to take down the emperor, you think you're going to take down the president, I'm going to say emperor in that sense. You think you're going to take down the leader, you are sadly mistaken, friend. And it's gonna cost you. I I have thought for some time that he has lost some money. They blamed it on him up with Doge and everything. I also think that there may be there's a what nobody wants to talk about is there's been a cap out on the Teslas. Sales are down. They had a big push. They did have some. Sure, they had those subsidies and stuff that was going on, which the president threatened to remove. And see how you like that, and da da da. I don't think they'll fully do that, but who knows? But it's at some point you saturate the market so much that it's hard to go up, and you have to find new ways to go up. You're always going to have those people that love the Teslas and the cyber trucks, all that, which I think they're ugly. But thank you, Gary Blaze 14, for the follow. But we'll put that on screen. Thank you so much. The cap on that has to be much. I mean, there's already been a slowdown on some of the factories that were being built in Georgia. In fact, one has not went forward yet. These massive battery plants that were being built in Georgia, there's been impact there in some cases, because one is it's topping out a little bit, and you're still going to need batteries, but it's topping out. The growth model was not there like they thought it would be. But secondly, the mineral part, getting a hold enough of the materials, and hence why they're trying to make these mineral deals. It's getting tough to get some of that stuff. And technology is going to move and change, and they'll find ways around that probably. I'm sure they will. And Elon's the kind of guy that can do that, and they're getting better with that stuff all the time. But a lot of people believe that this has grown too fast, and so it's just a softening in the market. And overall, it looks like strong sales, going forward. But they did so much so fast, it's just saturated, and so that's impacted. So if he's lost money, I mean, and yeah, it's a crazy market. There's crazy stuff going on in the world for the stock market, the tariff effect, and inflation, and all the different things are going into a market, a global market that is not predictable right now, as much as you can predict something like that, with sanctions being put out there. Speaking of that, when you go back to Russia and these planes that were hit, by the way, Zelensky was not accurate. Even leftist media is now reporting there wasn't as many planes damaged as he claimed. It now looks like they hit about 30, but about 22 of those really suffered damage. 10 to 12 fully out of operation probably. But it has impacted the Russians, there's no doubt. And it was an embarrassment to them. But the numbers were a little bit inflated, that Zelensky said. But they did do some damage, and they don't have a quick fix on some of the replacements. The Russians are behind, and these were older planes. Some of the next generation bombers, they're being built, but they're not being built but about 4 a year, and in some cases they're still design phase on even the next generation. And so it's going to take a little bit of time to get some of those rebuilt. They were using these. Now, some of these planes on the tarmacs were not operational. And so I think they took that number out because some of them were just sitting there. They weren't being used. These are very old planes, and they've been keeping them operating, and they have used them, yes. And so it does impact that way, not to the numbers that he claimed, but they've lowered that a little bit. They did do damage. and they are because of sanctions and the economy is not as great. It is costing them and slowed them down a little bit on replacements. They're building, like I said, the next generation bombers for that. So it was a big move behind Ukraine with a lot of intelligence help. The Europeans who have been running their mouth, they've now come out. The Germans have said we can fully support Ukraine against Russia. We don't need the Americans. Well, I say let them have it. Let them have it if that's what they want. This is the second time I've heard them bash the Americans that they're now going to lead the Europe. Well, do it. And because if you're not going to stop pushing, this war is probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I had hoped that we could get to a ceasefire, as ugly as it was going to be. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Zelensky's never going to back off. And until he's gone, there's no hope anyway. And Putin knows he's probably going to get everything he wants if he just hangs in there, no matter the cost. And he's lost a lot of soldiers. I mean, the casualty rate for both sides is exceeding 1.4 million death and injured. It's brutal. But the Russians have more to put in the field than the Ukrainians do. Even if they are bringing in North Koreans, they still can afford to do that and put those in the field. So it's going to keep going on. And I'm not saying we shouldn't do what we can diplomatically to help, but I do not want American resources put in the field. I do not want to see any kind of American our Air Force over Ukraine. I don't want to see boots on the ground from our military. If the Germans and French and the British say they got it, you got it. It's on you. So they're not wanting to back off either. And so let them do what they're going to do. The Ukrainian strike took out some bombers, but it's more of a PR move, about to have peace talks. Well, not anymore. Also gave the Western media something to prop up. That's an excellent point and one that I fully agree with. It wasn't as massive as they said. And yes, the timing was absolutely planned. With Lindsey Graham there, they weren't going to make peace. That was a joke of a meeting. It was never going to happen. And the meeting only lasted a little over an hour, and they were out. They agreed to swap some injured and prisoners of war, equal 1 for 1, whatever that number is going to be. But it keeps it in the news. It probably got and here, as soon as that strike was over, Ukrainian officials were in America asking for more money, more resources, more help. It's funny they came to America. Well, I thought the British, French, and German officials had your back. Why are you in America asking for that? Let's just tell them the bank account's closed. And you're right on this too. I don't believe the casualty numbers out there in the media for either side. Nobody knows the actual amount. No, they don't. They really don't. Nobody knows the amount of kids. It's a total guess that have been taken out of Ukraine into Russia. Nobody knows the number. Everybody says it's at least 20,000, but I've heard it could be over 120,000. Nobody knows the number, and not even the Ukrainian officials. The organizations that are helping to try to get the kids back, they say they don't know. There's no good hard data. They just know that these areas were overran. They don't know if the kids are dead or taken alive. In some cases, they've been able to give out 400 back, 400 kids. And really, that wasn't even the organizations. That was parents. God bless moms and dads, especially moms. These moms found out where their kids were, went into Russia, and went and got their kids. They found them in camps and stuff, and they told them, I want my kid. That's my kid. And they got them back, 400 of them. God bless them. But there's thousands more. Some of those kids are in camps. Some of them have been given to Russian families to raise. They don't even know where they're. I'm sure they changed their name. They don't even know where these kids are. They'll never get all these kids back. They will never, ever, ever get even a huge percentage of those kids back. That's going to be one of the saddest things. These kids will never see their families again, if they're even alive. In some cases, those families could be dead, but some cases they're not. And those kids will be raised as Russians to hate Ukraine, especially the younger ones. They don't know no different. They just go know they've been raised up to speak Russian. Some of them probably already spoke Russian, to be honest. Southern Ukraine, a lot of Russian-speaking communities, but they will be raised to be all Russia, They will grow up to love the motherland, to love the history, and they will look at the Ukrainian counterparts as the enemy. And one day, if this war keeps going, we'll fight against them. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But that's what war does. There's just people that go missing. There's situations that happen, and nobody knows exactly what happens in those situations. And it's going to just continue to get worse. But yeah, Zelensky will keep throwing his Hail Marys. They'll keep constantly coming up with ways to sabotage and things like that. But they're losing ground every day. And I firmly believe the Sumy region that they're in, they're fixing to collapse the Sumy region. And to me, that is a pathway to Kyiv. And they're going to exploit that. And it would not surprise me a bit to see them within range of Kyiv and bombing Kyiv, the outskirts, the suburbs of Kyiv, with artillery within a couple of months. It would not surprise me. Maybe 4 to 5 months on the outlook, because they're making advances every day. The Ukrainians are shorthanded. They don't have the ability to put back in. And these fiber optic drones, the fiber optic drones that the Russians have, are deadly. The Ukrainians are trying to produce them, but they don't have it. The Russians are absolutely shutting down the troop movements. People are not even being rotated back to get some rest and get fixed up before they go back in. They are mentally just physically worn out. Used to be they would rotate troops every 3 days or something like that. Some of these troops are being kept out there for weeks. And they say when these drones show up, you can't jam them because they're fiber optically connected. You can't jam the drones. And reporters for the BBC, I read that article, they were running for their lives. And it's about stopped all the press from getting to the front lines because you can't embed and be anywhere kind of even sort of safe, because they'll hear the whir of the drones show up and they just hide. Because as soon as they see them, it's like a kamikaze run. They're running at them to target them, to kill them. And of course, they're trying to shoot them out of the sky. But if you miss while you're trying to shoot the drones down, then you're exposed and you're dead. And those fiber optic connected drones can go several miles. There is the hazard of getting wrapped up in trees and stuff like that. But Lord knows a lot of the areas probably don't even have much trees. It's been just destroyed. But they're trying to find any kind of cover they can, because these things can fly for a while. They can slip these units. They don't have to come as a big unit. They're 2 or 3 man units, and they will infiltrate, get behind the lines, and then just look to where is the line. I mean, so it's not a unified front line where you have the Russians on one side, the Ukrainians on the other. It's discombobulated, and the drones could be coming up behind you, which is amazing. Ernest Dempsey on Rumble, thank you for being there, sir. A $3.5 million apartment was reportedly purchased in September last year as a gift to Zelensky's mom. The apartment is in the UAB, the United Arab Emirates, in the famous Burj Khalifa. We'll see if it's probed. Yeah, and I've been hearing. Thank you for that information. Thank you, Ernest Dempsey, and thank you for being in this program this morning. There's talk about a Miami mansion. Where is all this money went, and where are all these people at, or the resources, and does he have these palaces all over the world? He also says, I can imagine where else the $4 trillion missing from Pentagon goes in. Yeah, exactly. Roski Bear, UK, France, Germany would try to get Poland and Lithuania to make a move on Russia on their behalf. Man, you are spot on today, and you're absolutely correct. And these are the ones that are itching to get into battle. UK, France, and Germany don't have the balls to do it themselves. Right again. And so they're proxy warring. And Poland, there's a huge segment of Poland that wants to do that. They hate Russia. They've been building up their military, and Lithuania as well. And so you're absolutely right. Spot on, my man. And That's why I want the president to get us out of this mess, because you can't. It's like we're working three sides of a street. We got the Ukrainians on one side, we got the Russians on the other, then we have other NATO states that are itching to get into the war, and then as a fourth angle, you would say these big three that have been running their mouths saying that we don't need the Americans. We can do this. We can support this. Notice they said support. So they don't want to get in the front line, but they want to send weapons and cash, and they say they're going to amp up and bring, and also they're saying they're going to build up their military. Well, why do you got to build your own military up? You know why? Because you're scared. Because if Russia wanted to, they've got enough capability to annihilate you. You know, really, and France and Germany and Britain. You know what's going on? It's not going on in Russia. This is what people don't even think about. They're dying from the inside. They are absolutely being transformed as a nation from the inside. They have let anything and everything in their nation on the, much like our border has, you know, been wiped out before, and all these people in our nation, well, they've got it even worse. Small towns in Europe are being transformed overnight into just crime-ridden dump holes. And people that are, if you follow British conservative press, if you follow podcasts and people on the ground, they will tell you their countries are gone. It's over. And the cities, many of the cities are already being led by people that are not even conservative. They're not for freedom. In fact, they want Sharia law. They're in trouble, and yet they're going to take on Russia. For all that you can say about Russia, they do not let this crap go on in their country. And Russia is more than capable of taking that on. And who knows, maybe that's how they defeat them. They just turn on that's inside. UK has gone to immigrants from a crap hole. Yeah, it's unrecognizable. And many of these areas that you're talking about, as we think about D-Day, we liberated. I mean, they were parades in the street for the Americans coming through, and the Canadians and other of the coalition that came through to rescue them. These little tiny, wonderful old world towns. You know, when you think about England and you think about those little English villages and towns, it's over. They have been overran. The people are living in fear. The kids can't walk to the bus or to the school. The women are under attack. They're robbing and raping and pillaging their communities. And here's the worst part. That's bad enough. The English leadership refused to admit it. In fact, they try to cover it up. The press runs cover stories for them, and nobody's trying to do anything about it. And that's what was happening in America. And that's what we're doing right now with getting these people on planes and getting them out of here. And judges, you better back off. The president has a right, and I say, President, this is an emergency situation, and I say keep the planes running. Judges, whatever. I don't care. Do it. Just do it. It's an emergency act. We got to get these people. They're no good for America. We got to get them out of here. That's what the English and the French and the Germans won't do, and their countries are becoming crap holes. And these are the people that's going to take on Russia. Putin has to be sitting back laughing, absolutely laughing. Well, you know, maybe they did, brother. Maybe they did. The British Empire sure did. And it is, but they did it to themselves. They allowed that to happen. It wasn't like a force came over. Sure, you got to maintain a strong defense. You've got to maintain a strong military. They let them in. They absolutely let them in. And so they are getting colonized. I'm sure Obama and people like that are sitting back and, let's go. Because they grew up looking at that, and they absolutely hated the British Empire. So they absolutely hated that. But the point is that for whatever reason, and that's true, you see these same people saying they're going to take on Russia. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. They will not have the sustaining power to continue to keep up to defeat a Russia. It's not going to happen. But they will use Ukraine, and you're right. Wilderness, Lithuania is a great town. The old town concept section is amazing. It's the largest surviving medieval town in Northern Europe. Most cafes per capita of anywhere in Europe. Awesome. There, you can take a train. It's really amazing. Europe's amazing. You can take trains and you can go from the very civilized, and as you travel, it's like going back in time. And when you get to some of those countries over there, it's like going back in the 1800s. They haven't really changed that much. There's still a lot of the old, the horse and buggy kind of thing. It is truly amazing. It really messes with your brain to start out in this very civilized, very technological architecture. All that is very first world, and then you go back in time as you travel the terrains and going through, and it's like stepping back in history. I think I would like to do a trip like that. I really would. Absolutely would love to do a trip like that. Not, I think appreciate all the input today. Again, it's getting uglier, and listen, it's not good for the world or any area of the world to be at war all the time, and it's just horrible. And bad things are going to happen. I certainly want peace across the world. I don't want to. I don't want to see good people just being slaughtered, and that's what's happening. It's always the people on the ground. The people of power are going to find ways to wage their wars and advance their power for energy or whatever it is. They'll use an ideology to make that happen. I'm not for that. And there are people that are dying on both sides. I've got people that I know that are going into the country and helping. They're helping people of faith, churches, and they're trying to get food and medicines and clothing and whatever they can to these people. And it's absolutely tragic. And I can feel the same way of people in the Middle East or wherever. Nobody wants to live in a war zone. If you do, there's something wrong with you. Nobody wants artillery shells falling in your city. Nobody wants to see your apartment buildings hit and exploded, and nobody wants to see food dry up and starvation or not have clean water or whatever the case may be. Those are horrible things, and I don't applaud any of that. And I have never, ever been for the carpet bombing of an area and just annihilating it to the ground. And yes, we've done that. I've never felt like that. That's what war does. And a lot of countries, maybe most, have done that if given the opportunity. Have done that. That's why we got to stop the warmongers. Forget it. But if war's already started, got to find a way to stop it. And I'm really concerned about where this one's going. The Russians have hit back, but I just feel like they've not hit back in the capability of the way they can. And I'm telling you, Zelensky don't know what he's dealing with. And he's going to keep on poking the bear. And I have a fear that Kyiv is going to be on fire very soon if something don't happen. He can take his Hail Marys, and he can, with the help he's got from the NATO, and who knows, could even be CIA, and you can hit and do some damage, but at some point you're going to watch your capital on fire. It's not going to be pretty, and everybody's going to turn on you because you will have lost everything, and that's what's going to happen here. Ukraine cannot win against Russia. It can't happen. The best that they could have ever hoped for was to hold them in a stalemate. And many people never thought that would happen. They have slowed them down at times, but the Russians have continued to make advances. It's slow, it's methodical, it's the Russian way. They surround the town and they annihilate. They just bombard it day and night, and they destroy every structure in town. There's nowhere for the people to live. They flee. The Russians advance. It's slow because the Ukrainians are really putting a lot of mines out, and so they have to be careful. But with the use of the drones, they've got they own the skies. Now they did say today they brought down a Russian plane, so they do have times where they knock down helicopters, warplanes, but overall they're not. That's not going to be effective to do that, and you're going to see you're going to see the continued destruction of Ukraine. I really am amazed. I have to say this. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll play a Patriot Mobile ad. I'm really amazed that they've been able to hold on to Odessa. And I don't have I think I'm not sure why Russia hasn't paid that much attention there, but that has kept the seaport open for Ukraine to get grain out. They've even made deals with the Russians for those ships to pass. That's interesting to me that they have kept Odessa what didn't fall. There were some attacks there, but not to the level of Mariupol and other places. And it's just kind of amazing to me. I don't know the reasons why. If somebody could enlighten me of why that is, I really felt like that they would totally isolate as much as they could from the sea. And Lord knows, Ukrainians are pretty good. I took down a couple of warships or cargo ships, a couple of warships early on. Of course, that was using probably Elon Musk's technology to pinpoint and guide those drones in. But I really am amazed at that. I really am amazed that has been allowed to stay active. It's quite complex. There's a lot of parts to it. I believe, and I have read, that the Russians are rebuilding those areas. They're not going to give them back. They're rebuilding apartment complexes and structures in southern Ukraine, which will now be, I guess, Western Russia. It'll be the buffer zone between the true Russian border. And they're building apartment complexes and grocery stores and all that stuff so the people have a place to shop and live and all that. It's not going back into Ukrainian hands. That's not going to happen. We'll be right back. God bless you on a Saturday morning. God bless the USA. We appreciate you for listening this morning. We'll be right back.
Hey, folks, Dave in the AM here for the Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. Hey, we appreciate your support of the Southern Fried and all that it does. As you know, we recently partnered with Patriot Mobile. We could not be more excited to be a part of any affiliate. We love all our affiliates. Patriot Mobile is a cut above. They're so awesome. They love America. And I tell you what, they've got some special recognition coming that we want to honor and give you, again, the information that you need to make the switch that will help yourself, help America, help a great company, and you help the Southern Fried. You know, as Patriot Mobile, who loves the country, as we all honor D-Day, we remember the extraordinary bravery of the American heroes who landed on Normandy's beaches to secure the freedoms that we enjoy today. Their courage echoes in the service of our military, veterans, and first responders. Patriot Mobile is proud to stand with those who protect our freedom. As America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, we do not only offer reliable nationwide coverage on all three major networks, but we also support veterans by donating a portion of every customer's bill to organizations like Folds of Honor, Tunnel to Towers, Soldier Strong, Carry the Load, Warrior Rising, and more. Switching is easy with our 100% U.S.-based customer service team. You can keep your phone, keep your number, or upgrade, and get connected right from the comfort of your own home. Every call you make supports those who have given so much for our country. Make the switch today. Use that promo code Cornbread, and you will be glad you did. You'll be supporting, again, a great American company. You'll be supporting the Southern Fried, and yes, our heroes. God bless the American soldier. God bless America. And yes, God bless you. Thank you so much. Hey, Southern Fried fans and your Cornbread Nation. Well, yeah, that's right. We're going to advertise for Mammoth Nation. To all proud Americans, we call attention to these thoughts. Are you tired of woke corporations that don't align with your values? I know we are. Look no further than Mammoth Nation, the ultimate destination for patriots like you and me and Rob and everybody else, including old crazy Uncle Jeb, who believe in putting America first. Here at the Southern Fried Podcast, we're proud to partner with Mammoth Nation because they share our unwavering commitment to faith, family, and yes, freedom. Just like us, Mammoth Nation believes in the power of the American spirit and the importance of preserving our great nation's heritage. When you join Mammoth Nation, you're not just getting access to amazing discounts on products and services. You're becoming a part of a community that stands against the forces trying to tear our country apart. From supporting veterans and first responders to promoting Christian values, Mammoth Nation is the go-to platform for conservatives who want to make their voices heard. So what are you waiting for? Join the Mammoth Nation movement today and start enjoying exclusive deals from businesses that share your America First values. Together, We can make America great again, one purchase at a time. Don't miss out on this opportunity to support a company that truly cares about our nation's future. Sign up for Mammoth Nation now and experience the difference of a community that puts America first. Use that QR code on the screen, folks, and that will take you right to the website where we also will be helped in your support of these values. We are customers of this great American company. Rob is a monthly supporter, and I am a lifetime member of Mammoth Nation. We're so appreciative of companies like this. Please be a supporter, not just for us, but for America. These companies need our support. We're patriots. Stand together with patriots. Take care, and God bless.
And we're back, and the Mammoth Nation has the half price right now on lifetime membership. It is $250. Never pay anything again. They brought that down to $125. So $250 is what it usually is. I caught it last year around this time for $125. So I'm a lifetime member, and I don't have to worry about that. And as I go in and buy goods and services through their portal, I'm getting all the savings, and I'll make all that money back in savings. They're a great company. They work with American-made products companies that are right here. I have the same value. So Mammoth Nation, that was a really a great ad for us months and months ago, and very early on. In fact, it was one of our first, and we're really appreciative of Mammoth Nation too. We don't want to slap them in any way. We've been really trying to promote Patriot, and we will continue to do that. But Mammoth Nation is just as big in our family, and there are others too. Podbean and Debbie are the ones we work with. We are revamping a lot of stuff. Just to give you some news and notes real quick, there's the store. We're upgrading our logos and stuff in our Threadless store, which has great prices. You know, we keep that as low as we can. We make just a little bit off of each sale. It's not a ton of money through sheer volume would be a benefit for us, but we wanted those prices as low as we can. And Threadless offered that. We got really aggravated with the other store company was working with, and it was just hard for us to even manage it. So we just switched, and we're still getting that updated. But we've got some pretty amazing logos and stuff. A lot more going up. We have made a decision on the coffee. We'll be able to ship coffee soon. I'm not this coming week, but the following week I'm on vacation. I'm going to be now. A lot of that's to work with elections. I've got an election to work with, and to finish setting up all the Shopify, the different stores we'll work with, unify them all into one. The website's done except for we've got to get the embed the player. And there's one or two little things there. The newsletter is going to be going out each week now, and we can ship that coffee to you. And we're deciding on the names right now, and we'll get the logos up for that. So the month of June is going to be big for us, and there's a lot that's going to happen as we move forward. Don't forget our website is southernfriedcornbreadnation.com. So easy to find. It has all the links on there. I think I've got maybe one or two to add in, but I think most of them are there. You go see Patriot Bobo on the front page, but we will be adding in. And so sometimes people don't know where we're at. We're on so many things, not live, but we add in as much as we can up to our other smaller sites as well. And I don't care if they only have 5 followers. We still load our things there. Plus all the audio sites. And we're excited to be a part of that. This coming week, on Wednesday, the second part of the Hump Day View show will be the Southern Fried Vent, a new program for us. That is a Rumble-only exclusive. Rumble-only exclusive. Get your Rumble now, but you get download that app. It's free. And become a part of the Rumble community. We will continue to do everything we do here, but we will also have Rumble-only exclusives. The Southern Fried Vent will be not be behind the paywall for half the show and half will, because we're trying to drive obviously premium memberships there. So there'll be you'll want to do that. It's not expensive. It's really cheap. You pay for it by the year, you won't even notice it. What we love about Rumble is they guarantee free speech. They really do. There's some that claim that. Rumble doesn't. And we are in the Rumble Creator Program, and so we have a duty and obligation to support Rumble, and we want to do that. So there'll be some exclusive content that goes there. The event will be that. And so a lot of people have switched over. We get our followers have really jumped on, even if they haven't followed, the people viewing have really jumped. It's a great community of podcasters. We're friends with so many. We're becoming friends more all the time, and they've been great to us. They've really helped us along and continue to do that. And I can't say enough good things about the platform. And they're still working through some things. They still got some things to figure out. We usually run 2 channels, and we're doing that today. Our 2 main channels on Rumble are SF Podcasting and Southern Fried Podcast. So if you're looking for that, we do have a Cornbread Nation channel and a Dave the AM channel, which is really the Cornbread Man. That's my on-screen name. And so we're building up a lot of those things. So big push for us this year. A lot going on as we've crossed over the 1 year, and we're moving forward, and we're not going to stop. Lord will. So thanks for everybody that stops in. And as part of our Cornbread Nation family, a breadhead. If you are following us, supporting us, taking active part, giving us your precious time, you are a breadhead. And we've got some logos up for that as well. We're going to add to that. Roski Bear, who is one of those, just a wonderful American. Russia wants the war to continue as well, and taking Odessa would start to bring it to an end. Well, that's a good point. If they did, cut off Odessa, they would. It would starve the nation to a degree of their sales, because let's face it, Ukraine is a very big agricultural area as far as things that they sell, the grains and stuff that they sell, and of course the minerals and different things they have, but their economy has already took a massive hit, and we know that they can. Actually, Americans are supporting all of their salaries in the government, their pension plans. I think we're probably paying to keep the power on, to be honest. I think the American, mostly, support has kept those things in place, and without us, they don't have anything. That would probably put the nail in the coffin. So, yeah, Russia wants to continue to push to get as much as they can. They're going to bring Ukraine to their knees, and at some point, it's going to become such a problem for those nations. They may be talking big now, and it's really easy to talk big from afar, right? It's like somebody on the phone. Yeah, hey, just how big a boy are you? Run that mouth. Keyboard warriors. Yeah, really big, really easy to do that. But when somebody shows up at your door, and you're like, okay, well, I didn't really mean it the way we said that. Sorry, man. I got kind of mad. I didn't mean it, because when that bear shows up, they're not coming in to play nice. And so they can talk a big game till the ugly bear shows up and not only knocks on the door, but knocks it down and says, come here, you little punk. And that's what's going to happen with Zelensky. They want this guy now. There is no way, I'll say it, there is no way Russia agrees for Zelensky on anything. And the only thing they want to see, I believe it, is that man dead. They've wanted it from the beginning. They have the Chechen and hit squads. They want him dead. They don't like it. It's like a mafia movie. They put the hit on this guy. They ain't never going to give that guy peace. And where's he going to go? What nation is going to defend him? Look at the people that went against Russia. Remember the guy that got poisoned? They showed him from the hospital bed. All these systems were shut down and he died. That's the way they do business. They don't care. They will get this guy. I imagine that Zelensky has a lot of food tasters in his inner circle. How'd you like to have that job? Oh, here's your dinner, El Presidente. Oh, okay. Hey, you too. Eat. And then bring me the rest. Carve out some. Yeah, get a little from the middle. I guarantee you, because they poison, and they don't care how long it is. They're gonna keep coming after you. They'll get this guy at some point. And you know what? He probably knows that too. I'm sure he does. And it's went too far now. There's no hope for it. There absolutely is no hope for it. I would say that I'm right with you, brother. I'm not really a supporter of either one. I don't like to see innocent people. I'm talking about on the ground. I don't like to see that. But I don't really care for either one of these countries, to be honest. I mean, why would I? I don't have any connection to them whatsoever. We've never really, in our nation, had any kind of deep connection, except when the Obamas and Bidens got to making deals with them. But there is that part. And now you got these people that are coming out, the supposed fact checkers, and saying, "Oh, there's no Nazis in Ukraine. That's a big lie. It's conspiracy. It's fake media. Da da da." Well, go look on the ground. Go look at what's going on, and you'll see. So, just think about 4 years ago, or even 10 years ago. See, well, let's go back 12, because Crimea fell. What was that? 2014. Let's go back 12 years ago. Ukraine has really got it going on, but they started buddying up with some things. Some deals were going down, dirty deals, and then next thing you know, Crimea falls. I can remember that. There was fear at that time that Russia was going to roll through the nation. That should have been message enough. Well, that started the whole back and forth, and then Zelensky was trying to fast track Ukraine into NATO, and Russia said, "Oh heck no, no." They'd already threatened us for and this goes back to the Bushes. The work they were doing, the agreements they were doing with the country of Georgia, was really ticking the Russians off. They were saying, we stood down on a couple of things. We were going to put a missile battery in Georgia, and Russia was about ready to just full on go in there too. So people better believe it. You can't do that. These nations are going to have to understand, if you try to arm yourself up to a certain level of military, if you try to make agreements with the West to put, it's like Cuba pointing missiles at us. If you try to do that, Russia's going to strike. And for whatever fraud and crookedness that was going on with the money and everything else, the biolabs, who knows what all corruption going on. On the surface level, it is about NATO. It's always been about NATO. And yes, Putin wants to control all the energy in Europe. He's been working for that. And I don't see any way in the world he's going to let that nuclear reactor go back to Ukraine either. They took it over. They're going to keep. And here's the fear. That thing suffered some damage here a while back, and they were trying to keep it from really becoming an incident. They really still are. With that knucklehead, talking about Zelensky, would he try to create a nuclear issue, since that's now in Russian hands, just to push really mess it up for Russia? That's crazy. But do we really trust what he would do? I don't trust who would do. I don't trust this guy. Yes, Broski, you're right. They have really amped up their military. People don't realize. People don't think about Poland this way. But Poland has really spent a lot of their GDP on the build-up of their military. And there are a huge segment of the political parties there that hate Russia, and they want a little payback. They wanted this thing a little bit. There's some that don't. A lot of Ukrainians went to Poland. A lot of the refugee workers went to Poland to work with them. And Poland has been the conduit mainly of how goods and services are brought back and forth in and out of Ukraine. But yeah, in the government, there are people that want to take it to Russia. And they see this as a weakened Russia. And who knows what could happen. Another one that amazes me, and I said this here recently, is why that Belarus, I really thought they would get involved as far as for Russia. I really thought they would get involved in some way. Oh, they've allowed some troops on their soil. They've allowed Russian airplanes and helicopters, things like that, to use their air bases. They've got agreements and things. But this Belarus leader, he has really spoken pro-war, and I'm surprised he has gotten in, especially what's happened in the Kursk region, where Ukraine went over into Russian territory. I'm surprised that Belarus did get involved. And maybe they're afraid that if they do, they'll be under attack from their other border. This thing could really explode. But I have to think that Putin told them to stay out. I mean, he's bringing North Koreans in. Why he would tell them to stay out, I don't know. It's just a guess. I really don't know. It's one I've been watching. I really thought this guy would get involved. Big old fathead. He wants to be in this battle so much. I can't think of his name. The leader. You saw a lot of him early days of the war. He's not really been out there as much, or at least it's not reported as much. I'm not saying he doesn't get in the press, but our press picks and chooses who they want to highlight. But there are fears by some of those former member states and some others as well that Russia's going to violate. They've actually closed the border at times to the Russians, which really angered Russia because they're afraid of what may happen. But there's no way that some of those can hold Russia. I don't think they're going to steamroll across. Who's to say? Who's to say? Wars get out of hand, don't they? They get out of hand. People get sideways really quick, and it just goes to an area that, I mean, remember Nazi Germany. He even said, "We're not going to invade you. We got agreements." That was always going to happen. And isn't it amazing now we're back again, and the Germans are saying we can support Ukraine in this war. Wow. Poland's new president, Karl Nawrocki, is a conservative, only 42 years old. Interesting. What is their party system, Broski? Is it two main parties or three, or is it like Israel that has 27 different parties and they're trying to get a coalition? How does that work in Poland? What is their political, for lack of a better word, I don't know what they call it, Poland, their Congress made up of, like we have mainly Democrats and Republicans here, some independents, and there are other smaller parties that try to get on the table. They're not big. Green Party as well. I was just wondering what Poland, I've never really studied their political system in depth, but it really is. They've amped up. Now, there's some, England says they're going to build their fighting force to the strongest in Europe by 2035. A lot of military buildup. Lots of it. Germany's built submarines and sold them to Israel. Kind of an interesting dynamic. Crazy stuff going on in the world. You know what? Can't we all just get along? Oh, then you have the China effect, Ukraine. What's going to happen there? Some say that's they're hoping that this all just blows up to the point that while our attention's really focused on Ukraine and Middle East and whatever, that China would hit Taiwan. Can you imagine if that happened? My God, what would it be like in the world if that scenario was to happen? I've seen battle plans of how they believe the Chinese are planning to hit Taiwan, access points, what would be their main first attentions as far as taking over. There's some military people I've listened to that have talk about where the bases are, the naval strength, the troop strength of how many they might land, Air Force wise, whatever. They really watch this. They really pay attention to it and keep up with it. It's quite interesting. You look at Taiwan, as advanced as they are, how small they are compared to the big China. Wow. It's not a good spot to be in. We don't like what that could possibly mean for us if we were to go to war. But we're not sitting in their back door, and we're not small. And we have, I still believe, the best fighting force in the world, all things considered. The Chinese have really tried to amp up, become more of a player around the world. We'll see. That's the one thing about it. It'll always give us something to talk about. There will always be actions off of this that we will continue to be able to focus on, because this is not going away. It's absolutely not going away. And see what happens with Europe. I don't know. You wouldn't think it would happen. Would President Trump pull us out of NATO? I don't know that he would do that, but would that not sting NATO? I mean, he's already complained about the money. Like, you better do your part, countries. And some have said they're going to step up and do more. But now they're saying things like, "Oh, we'll take the place of the Americans. We can handle this." Well, you just say, "You know what? We'll handle it. We're America. We don't need you. Go for it. It's not our war." I'm not saying he would, but what's the benefit if they're going to drag us into wars? Because they obviously are not listening to us. I mean, at least the war of the words is that they're trying to push us to the sideline anyway, because we wouldn't fully support their war. They want to see that continue. I think it's like the rest of Europe. Broski Bear says they have many parties. Now, Rocky's party is called the Law and Justice, BIS Party, National Conservative Pro-Catholic. Or is it Naroki or Narosi? Narosi is Catholic. Amen to that. It's interesting with all the liberal parties that have taken power, socialist, labor movements, and different ones have taken control in a lot of countries, that Poland does have a conservative leader. Do you think this is why Poland's not already involved in this, that he has held back that party and those people have held back Poland from really getting involved, even though they continue to build? Don't they have, I know you said they were bigger than all the others combined. I believe they have a very large tank complement. Large, like maybe more than most. They really built up the ground forces for Poland. I don't know what their air force looks like, but their ground forces are huge. I think they have a lot of tanks. Tank warfare is still important. But now we see that drone warfare is equally as important. It can soften your enemy up from behind the lines, and you can hit strategic depots, fuel, ammo, dumps, or whatever through situations like that. And you can pin down troops, and you can spot your enemy's troop movements with drones. So it really has changed. Isn't it amazing, the cameras on these things? They can show going in and the explosion. They get other drones that take pictures afterwards to show things on blowing up. It really is like a video game, but except it's real life. You've got these drones. I mean, we've got people sitting in rooms somewhere in Maryland or wherever, and they're playing video games with real live stuff, and they fly these drones into places all over the world, Somalia, wherever, and they're looking for particular people to take out with this. And then they go home. It's a 9-to-5 job, I guess. You go home at night, or get off in the morning, whatever your shift is, go home, kiss the kids and the wife, and live life, and then go back to killing the next day on your job from the safety of a darkened room with a bunch of computer screens and so maybe, I don't know, we say joysticks, but I know it's software that's telling them what to do, but maybe it has some of the element. I don't know. Poland has the third largest NATO military after Turkey and USA. That's amazing, man. That truly is amazing. Amazing. Not that big of a country, really, if you think about it. Amazing. But, they want to make sure they're protected. We're strong. Don't mess with us. Who do they buy a lot of their military hardware from? Is it the U.S.? Or are there other partners? If you know, are there other partners who supply their weapons needs? That's big business. Big business for America. C-130s and fighter jets, systems that we sell. I had a friend once. He was still a friend. I don't see him anymore. He was talking about all the security they have on the ship when they're putting in these advanced missile capabilities, defense systems, and how different ones they have. And they've got people standing there with the weapons at hand. You don't have the right password, it's a bad day for you. If you make one wrong move, you're in trouble because it's highly secretive work. And they each room, you don't get to go wherever you want to go. They have a control where you're going to go do your work that day, and then leave. They're checking you for everything coming in and going out. To make sure you haven't taken pictures or copied something, stole something, whatever. It's that kind of security when they upgrade the Aegis systems, things like that on these naval ships. Highly secretive, Hollywood. You know, of course, the Chinese and others out there are trying to pay people to sell out the country, commit treason, and sell that information to them so they can replicate it and use it. Well, there are a bunch of people mad at the Golden Dome, right? I don't know if we'll ever get it built. I believe he's going to make the attempt, but just talking about it has ticked off a lot of people. The Golden Dome, they can't handle that. You too, man. Hey, it's nice having you in here. You have a great Saturday. We'll be departing sometime in the near future. I've got to go to, I actually work a little bit on Saturday, do some security myself, extra job. We'll be on tomorrow, Sunday morning in the Word, tomorrow night. Last Sunday night, I just did Maga report. I kind of combined that and the news desk up. We'll get the news back this week for sure. We'll be watching the race. By the way, we missed the sports show. I had to work late and just the other work schedules of my co-host. We did have an extra racing show. We're going to come back again on Tuesday with racing. And then we'll also get the sports show in. So looking forward to those. A lot of good sports news going on this weekend. We will watch the race from Michigan, see how that goes. And looking forward to partnering up with Dean and James again for those shows. Excited. On the 17th, I believe it's a Tuesday, I will be in elections all day. That's a 16-hour day, 15, 16 hours. Counting travel time, it's about 16 hours. It's a long day. Not a big election, only 3, I think, offices own the whole ticket, 2 or 3. It's not going to be very busy, but you still put the same amount of energy in, same hours, same everything. So that's why I'm taking off. It's a long, long day. Probably will go live that night before when I get out. I'm usually home by 10, and we'll probably do a live that night, but we won't do sports or racing on that Tuesday. We'll have to bounce that to one of the other days because of that. So it's too late for folks. They don't want to get out at 11 o'clock at night. I'd be doing a show. I'm the crazy one. I've been on here at 1 o'clock in the morning, still talking. I love the podcast. I love what we do. I appreciate all those that are here. I have quite a few in here today. God bless you for coming by the Southern Fried. If it's your first time, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate all of our Rumble friends and others, a lot of folks here, and others across the Twitch and Kick and YouTube, Facebook, running an extra channel which we bounce some channels back and forth, personal accounts. So some of my personal accounts are running today. And if I don't see your comments, if you're making any, I'm sorry, I need to pull up a couple of them personally. I've got only so much screen space. And I've got to get that figured out. Because we're running through 2 different platforms and going out to all these different entities. But we just try to maximize our message and get it out. I want to say thank you to everybody here. I enjoyed the show last night. We got a thumbs down. I don't know who gave us a thumbs down on honoring veterans, but whoever you are, you're a jackknife. I suspect it was probably someone it could be inside the country that hates veterans. All we did last night was honor veterans for D-Day. And somebody gives us a thumbs down. This is not the way I'd say it. Stick it. I don't care. You can take your thumbs down. You know what you can do with it. And if people don't like that I said that, I don't care. I love America. I love our veterans. And what? It don't make me mad. It's just, you know what? If you're going to be like it, why even do that? Thumbs down. Come on. Really? Just don't even make a comment. I suspect they were from somewhere in the world, and they don't like America. Of course, we got a lot of people here that don't like America either. I don't care. America first, baby. You know what? America's made their mistakes too. But you know what? I love my country. Everybody wants to hold things. They want to keep criticizing and bringing up. I've said this before. I love people all around the world. I got friends all around the world. But I'm an American. I don't apologize for it. I don't have any guilt about it. I don't carry around some weight on my shoulders about, what has or hasn't happened. I wasn't here for it. It's history. I love my nation. And if somebody don't, okay, that's fine, fair enough. You don't like America, fine, but you're not changing my mind. And I'm not ashamed to promote my Lord and Savior, and I am not ashamed to promote my American citizenship. And I'm not ashamed of being from the state of Georgia. I'm not ashamed of being Southern. I'm not ashamed of anything, of whatever I am. Whatever I am by the grace of God. And I am not ashamed of it at all. And so some people just got to try to rain on your parade. Doesn't bother me. If you're going to do this kind of thing, you got to have a little bit of thick skin. You got to. Or if you can't handle the heat, then, as I say, get out of the kitchen. Most people are very kind. There's always those looking to harass you or poke fun at you, call you names. That's what bans are for. You just ban them and move on. They weren't here for you anyway. That goes back to Cornbread, right? Or even worse, it's full on enemy. They're not here for you. They're not here to promote you, and they don't care about you. So, the heck with them. It's like we got people in our nation right now. They need to be got out of here. They're not here for America. They're not here to be a part of the cause. They're not here to advance the nation. They're not here to work, and they're just here to take and to hurt and to harm, and we need to get them out. And I have no sympathies about that. Move them out. Get them out of here. Does not bother me a bit. And by the way, these people standing in front of the ICE vehicles and stuff, could you at least have some kind of common sense? If you're going to get in front of a car that's going down the road, it's an official car, you got to expect at some point you're not going to be able to keep up and you're going to get run over. That's on you, bub. You see that video? Dude's trying to run along like he's going to stop the car and trying to, people are coming up, hitting on the car and everything. At some point, they're just going to speed up and you're going down. And that's exactly what happened. You got in front of the car and you go down. That's dumb. If you're going to protest, I don't know, maybe they thought it was a Tiananmen Square and they were going to space down the tank. No, you're going down. Stupid. Don't do it. Or do it and we get a video out of it. Doesn't bother me. I don't feel sorry for them. It's like people jumping on the interstate to block the interstate, trying to people get to work, stop the goods and services. If you try to block an interstate, at some point, somebody's going to mow you down. They're not going to just keep up, just let you do that. This happens around the world, and people are tired of it. And there's a lot of fatigue with people and their causes and their protests and all that stuff. Those people want to work. Most people want to work, make their money, live their life. They don't have time for your freaking games. So when you put yourself in a situation like that, that's on you. And I don't have any sympathy for them. People say, oh my gosh, they're on the ground. And you got in front of a moving car. What do you think is going to happen? And if there's a threat perceived, first of all, you're impeding an official government action. Secondly, they're not going to just go stay and let people, bust windows out of the car and pull them out of the car. They're going to take off. And they're heavily armed anyway. I mean, it's not like you're going to win that. It's going to be ugly. But this guy's an idiot. Come on, dude. Surely you got more sense than that. And if you don't, you should. I mean, amazing. They don't play with them road blockers in Europe, some of those places. They get out. They punch them out, drag them to the side, tell everybody to go on. I'm not getting drug out of the car. You know what? At some point, you're going to become a road bump, speed bump, because I'm not going to get drug out of the car. I'm not going to let that happen to me and my family. I just been hoping around here enough like it happen. The police, thank God for our police around here. They don't play. A lot of things that happen around the country, even deeper down in Georgia, that's not going to work here. Our authorities don't play those games. They will take and stop it before it ever gets a foothold. And I got to give even Chattanooga a lot of credit. A protest that happened around the country during George Floyd, that never got out of hand here. They gave them a little space to do their thing, but they didn't let troublemakers and rabble rousers and stuff destroy the city and all that. They took those people and got them out. And they controlled it. They knew it would eventually go away, and it did. They didn't let their city be burned or windows broken and all that destroyed. Complete credit. We still have people here that understand you can't let your city be taken over and dominated by those from inside the country that want to tear down freedoms, institutions, or whatever. Again, you don't have to like anything. That's freedom, baby. You don't have to like anything. You can dislike whatever you like. That's your freedom to do that. You can speak out against it. That's your freedom to do that. I wouldn't advise putting 8647 and seashells walking down the beach like some idiots are. But you have the freedom of speech, or hollering fire in a crowded movie theater. Those are things we understand we're not going to allow. But you got freedom of speech. You can have that. You have the right to protest, not destroy. And whatever force is needed to stop that, I'm for it. And they're talking about coming to the suburbs, taking people out in the suburbs. Now, you may do that in some places in the country, but it's not going to work well in most places in the country. Not going to work well. Just because you got away with it in the big city, they just surrounded you and let you burn and pillage and even set yourselves on fire sometimes. Not going to happen. And most communities in America, they're not going to put up with it. And it's going to be a bad day for them. So, we're about due for another big. There's going to be something big pop up. We're about due for another one. It seems like every few months we have another issue that has happened, and the country goes aflame. Big, massive protest. Cars are being flipped over, set on fire. Windows in the buildings are being broken out, and they just keep. We're about due for one. Let's be honest. I hate to say that, but it's true. We are about due for another violent action, and and I believe if they can't get it, they will invent it. If it doesn't still happen organically, they will invent it. Michael says there was a great video of protesters at Georgia College, and he sure did. Saw that, Bubba. Saw it. Yeah. Try that here. We don't play. We do not play. I love it. You know what? It's because you have to have law. And yeah, it's sometimes we get things wrong. We do. We got to try to keep those things right. But you can't allow things to happen that will destroy your nation, shut down goods and services, burn down the pharmacies and the grocery stores and stuff within your communities. You can't allow that stuff to go on. And these idiots, and that's what they are, jack-legged idiots who destroy their own community, then they got nothing. And I don't blame those retailers for not building back in some areas. Some of them have. Some of them said, you know what, we're out. First of all, they're dealing with crime. The thefts already have made the store probably losing money. They just didn't look bad by shutting the store down, so they've accepted the loss to try to continue to serve that community, or at least it's break even, or if it might make a little bit. But if you burn the thing down, you destroy it. A lot of them are saying, you know what, we don't need it. It's not a producing store for us. You've made it easier for us to leave, so we're out. And that's what they don't get. Then life gets tougher, because cities are not made for everybody to have a car. People use public transportation, bicycles, rides, Uber, whatever, DoorDash. So if you lose the ability to have those things, you're going to lose the ability to shop, to have things within range, and then you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. And a lot of people, by the way, Newsom in California, I run that mouth. He's talking about, we pay $80 billion or whatever he said in taxes. Da, da, da. How about we just keep it? But try that, buddy. Just try that. Newsom. People's leaving your state by the droves, buddy. They're tired of things. They're coming out. It's happening all over the southwest to southeast, even up the East Coast. People are leaving California and New York by the droves. And that includes companies. The companies are getting out. They're going to tax-free states, and they're setting up shop there, and they're happy they're doing it. I know many people have got down to Sacramento, California. They're all over from Texas to Tennessee. They are all in points in between. They said, I love my state, I love my city, but I can't live in that mess anymore. So they're down. They got horses and farms, and they wanted that small town feel. They wanted to have a community, the right kind of community, and they've been accepted in those communities, and they couldn't be happier with their situation. And some of them still have family there. They go back and visit them, but they say it's bad. And that's what's going to happen. That's what our cities are turning into in a lot of these leftist areas. And it's unfortunate. There's some good people there. They're trapped. They're absolutely trapped. And if you look at a heat map, so to speak, of those areas, most of the state are red. But it's those cities that are driving everything, the sheer numbers. And it's the sheer numbers that are involved. And so, is it possibility they could bring those communities or those states? A lot would have to happen, because a lot of conservatives have got out actually. So I don't think that will happen. But that's why some of the states are frustrated, and they say we need to break them up into 2, maybe even 3 states. California is one of those. It's such a big state. And there are a lot of areas that say we are not represented by our state. And so Southern California would like to break away. Northern California would like to break away. Eastern Oregon would like to break away. Southeastern Colorado, 9 counties that would like to break away. They're tired of what's going on there, and they feel like that we're just not the same. We don't see things the same way. We need representation for us. We need to be able to have our future not dictated to us by the values that these people have versus the values we have. So our country's in a state of flux with things like that. Don't know if there's a path for that people could have that happen, but it's certainly a possibility. Certainly a possibility. I mean, look at Georgia. If you ask anybody in Georgia, they'll say Atlanta's gone. So North and South Georgia identify together. Very conservative areas, farming areas, with some cities, but mostly it's conservative. And Atlanta is blue, and it's a tight state because of that. A tight state, and we're seeing that in other areas of the country as well. We do have elections that will be coming up this year, small as they may be. Go vote, take part in it, research, know who these people are, and get ready for 2026. Lots on the table. Much bigger. If you're not registered, get registered now. And most states have the ability to absentee ballot vote. Because of my wife's health, I think that and I know, Michael, you're doing that, so I think we're going to do that this year. I was talking to one of the election officials, and they said they've done it for about 3 years now because they're so busy leading up to the election. They just absentee ballot vote. And my wife definitely needs that support. She doesn't need to have to get up and go down. She could do it. She'd be willing to do it. But I told them that I think we can, Michael, I think in Georgia we can apply in August, I think. Is that right? For the main election, August. Anyway, if you're still there, hear me. And he also posed, just in the drivers community on the internet, there's 3 states that talk about don't run for the state patrol: Georgia, Arkansas, Florida. Now that don't play well. Smokey the Bandit. They try to make the Georgia State Patrol a little bit buffoonish and that, but they played along. They some of them actually officers got in that movie. It's pretty cool, It was fun. It was a comedy. But yeah, they it's funny they highlighted uh, two of those for sure. Arkansas was prominent in that movie as well as Georgia, and of course Texas being the Smoky Bear. So that was pretty cool too. But yeah, they don't play. I want to tell you, people don't realize the amount of armaments that the Georgia State Patrol has. I'm sure most states, but if you've ever seen something really serious going on, and you look out on the interstate, and it's massive what they're rolling down the interstate. Wow, it looks like a paramilitary drill. It's amazing what they have. Absolutely, just not play well with criminals. Yeah, take them down. You remember years ago? I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but it's true. Freaknik. Remember when Freaknik was going on in Atlanta? And Atlanta thought this was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Freaknik. Oh, all these people are going to come into our city and they're going to spend all this money. And it turned into a crap hole for 3 days. Oh my gosh, the citizens were so mad. Well, I remember the first time they had that happen. I worked in Chickamauga. Those folks came down 75. And when they hit the Georgia state line, let me just say it was a field day because they were driving crazy, running all over people, running on the medians, passing people in the wrong place, just crazy. From the state line to at least Dalton, probably past there was an absolute, it was like a convoy of officers that were pulled these people over. They got a lot of tickets that day, and some of them went to jail. Yes, it was a nightmare. People talk. I mean, they had droves of people peeing in their yard and other things. You couldn't move. There was violence. It was, let's face it, you couldn't have your kids out for what it turned into. And they finally stopped it. It's like the Florida spring break. Some of those communities down there thought, oh yeah, it'll be busy, but we're going to make a lot of money. They're deciding now that, oops, I meant to put that. They're deciding now that that's not worth the money because it's actually costing them more money. And their people are being put in harm's way. And now it's really got bad. They're finding needles and lots of drugs, weapons. The attacks on their businesses have went up. And so some of those communities that were really close to or embrace spring break have decided it's not worth it. Much like their, what's the other kid? South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. They put the stop on some things there too. It turned into a real nightmare. Well, you're right. And that's a protected zone. You can't, if you go in that zone, you can be arrested if you wear a shirt with a scripture on it. You can be arrested. They've got a zone, and you can't say anything. You can't. They won't let you. Can't shout anything. You can't even have a silent witness. Hold a Bible, they'll arrest you. That's Atlanta. They can have it. Oh. These young motorcycle riders are warning us not to be stupid on Georgia and Arkansas highways. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah, they don't play. They don't play. And I can tell you, not only the Georgia State Patrol, but Dalton PD don't play either. They're involved in some of those pursuits. And I know some of those guys. And the Dalton PD don't play either. In fact, some of the biggest pursuits have been ended by Dalton PD. They don't play. There's stories. I've got a little bit of access to some of those stories. They enjoy that. That's a drilling up. They live for that. It's like, oh, not my community. No way. They'd line it up. What's the little town going south? Emerson, speed trap. I love Emerson because I like Doug's place, a little country eatery down there. We used to stop all the time. The area is really growing up around Emerson, a little bitty small town. Their whole budget, I think, is made off of 75 South drivers. They've got it where they can come up there and write tickets, and you will always see people pulled over the speeders going through Emerson. Absolutely. I always slow down around Emerson, always. Arkansas does not play. Some of my wishes he could move to Georgia or Arkansas just for the ability to. That's right. We do it. Some people complain. Oh, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. That's part of normal operating procedure around here. That's SOP, standard operating procedure. They don't call in and get the approval for the pit. If they do, that's always sure, yes. I think they just do it. But if they do have to call in, you don't hear about them giving them flack. It's not like when, they had the ones that were taking over the shipping, the Somalians, and they were trying to take out that ringleader, and they had to call in to President Obama, and by the time they got approval, it was too late. No, they just say game on. He's a cop in Washington State. Yeah, and they got issues out there too. They need to have the ability to do that. They've got a lot of problems too. I only know that because I've watched a lot of cops, and a lot of it comes from Washington State. Absolutely. They got their own things they need to deal with, but yeah, I like it. We still have some tough areas. Don't play. Oh. And, it's a massive corridor. Everything flows up through Georgia and branches off to these other states. And there's a lot. You don't ever know what's coming up that 75 corridor. You'll never know. Drugs, human trafficking, organ stealing. That's become a huge thing. They meet someone, they drug them, take them to a hotel, and it's crazy stuff. Taking out organs and selling them on the black market. That has definitely happened in Atlanta, definitely. But they've been branching out into places like the Blue Ridge. They've actually had people renting cabins in the Blue Ridge area, if you know where that's at, in the state. Beautiful area, but kind of off the path. They've actually had major players of drugs, human trafficking. They believe probably some organ stealing and places like that. They're getting out. They're trying to evade these. They know there's more resources in the cities, so now they're getting off these towns, and they're doing it there. Then, hopefully, because they know that the local police doesn't have the manpower to always investigate, research all this stuff. So, Michael says, I don't know about others, but in Georgia, the troopers have to cover up to 4 counties sometimes. They are spread out. When there is a wreck on a state highway, sometimes it can be a while for the state patrol to get there. I have seen it's common to have a 30-minute to 1 hour wait for the state patrol to arrive to work the wreck. The county just, make sure everybody's okay, make sure nobody leaves. They will sit there. This ties them up too. It's on a state highway. They will tie them up. It happened in front of our church once. There was a wreck right in front of our church. And they had to call in the state patrol. It was, let's just say this. We had finished church. It was on a Sunday night. It might have been Wednesday night. But anyway, it was evening service. And we come out and offered water to everybody. It was right after we ended service and came out that the state patrol finally showed up. Everybody was frustrated, but yeah, they cover a lot of ground. How do I contact ICE? My small town is being invaded. I think they feel safe in a small area. I don't know the official contact. That's a great question. Somebody may have a suggestion. We'll look into that. That's a That's a great suggestion, a great question, and we'll look that up. We'll get something back to you, Logan. Thank you for that. And that's happening too in small towns. And those small towns, much like we talked about in Europe, it's happened here as well, but not to the violence level. But they are inundated. Factories are hiring them. They shouldn't. They're supposed to be doing the I-9s. Maybe they've got stolen IDs. Maybe that's part of it. But we know what industry that usually happens in. There's two or three main ones, and we know what everybody knows what's going on. Uh, so it is happening. That's a great question. I don't have. I mean, it's just something I haven't looked up. I would love to give you the answer. If somebody knows what would be the official contact for them. That's a great question. We'll try to find that out. Thanks for being here. What what area? You don't have to give your town, but what area of the country do you live in? Just curious. I like they said small town. I love small town. Small town's great. Community events. We're going to set up at more of those. We're going to be at Camilla with the podcast, Camilla, Georgia, in July. We have one planned for October, small town, and we're looking for at least one more. Maybe in 2026, we may do more. I'd kind of like it to be. I've just got to rearrange my schedule a little bit. Arkansas, okay. I've been in Arkansas a few times. Um, I've not been in every area, but I have been. It's a beautiful place. Landscapes are awesome, from what I saw. Of course, Arkansas, a lot of people are traveling through as they go west, but it is pretty neat. A lot of big stories out of Arkansas too. The Arkansas. What's it? The Arkansas side of the river there with the kids and all that mess. That story. That's a big one. Michael says I've got a few friends that've been in state patrol. I was in Florida. No, I was in South Georgia. It's just in Bainbridge, and we went to this little. It's called a Seminole. They're Florida State fans. I think it's called the Seminole Cafe or something like that. And big table of Georgia State Patrol. We walked in. Of course, they don't bother me, but the uniforms all pressed and perfect, and they all look like they just like a football team or something. They're just pretty big dudes. They don't play. Lakes are clean and mountains beautiful. Amen. Amen. It is beautiful. And that's just what I saw traveling through the state. My wife didn't get to see it. I was well, maybe once she did. I was traveling doing some things, and they also have horse racing. Let's say, awesome. Yeah, Arkansas, beautiful, beautiful. It's a great area. This southeastern part of towards the little bit more west, but it's a beautiful area. Beautiful, beautiful area. Mountains. You're right. Lakes. There's so many wooded areas still, and you don't have to live in that dog eat dog city life. You can get off and you can have that community, get in communities where people know your name, they're respectful, they look out for their neighbors still, and they don't, as the song says, try that in a small town. And listen, I've been in cities and I've got friends in cities. I just don't like that type of dog eat dog world, the traffic. I'll do it if I have to, and I don't complain about it. I just do it because I know what I'm getting into. And sometimes ministry's taking me there, other reasons. But for me, just bring me back home. I like my town's gotten too busy, really. The spillover from Tennessee into my community it's really busy, the roads, but it's still small town. You still feel that. And I could be just drive minutes, and I'm in rural areas, and Also, also cottonmouths. Yeah, yeah. We don't want them. We do have those. You know, I was baptized in a creek or crick, however you want to say it. Robert gets on to me for saying crick. I like doing it just aggravated. Yeah, we all need elbow room. Sure. Yeah. They're not supposed to be right on top of each other. You know what? You walk outside, you don't want to, have people sitting there, can read your receipt that you're looking at. They're so close to you. It seems like Michael says, I've been through Arkansas a couple of times, but never went far off I-40. I would describe myself as being that way. But even the landscapes that you see from I-40 are beautiful. Beautiful. I absolutely love it. And Missouri, I loved driving through Missouri. Uh, was in West Branson. Oh, the landscapes are so beautiful. I just love it. Those college campuses are sitting on amazing. Just to go there just for the scenery and the hunting and fishing would be awesome. I will. Been wanting to come back to the state and would like to visit. Definitely would be interested in that. That would be fun to do. I'd like to go on a road trip and do podcasts from some of these areas. Get me a battery pack, and I got the laptop. I can take the mic. It's easy to pack up. You can, with technology, you can do the show from anywhere. I'm actually wanting to do one from an Indian removal area that's not too awful far from here. Very historical, and I've been wanting to do a sort of a road trip from there. I've got another one planned. I've got to get on the ball. I've got another one planned. Maybe we squeeze one in the week of vacation. I want to do one from the scene of a tragedy. I want to kind of do some video there, some pictures, and then come live from there and talk about that. That's been one of the things we've been wanting to do in the podcast. We've done it a little bit, but when I go back south, I'd like me and Rob to do that. Get out of the studio, go live in an area, and kind of be out and about. Talk to the man on the street as well. Now we're going to do that festivals, but I actually want to go to historic areas and do things from there. We can do that. We could do a 2 hour show easy with the battery power we have, as long as we have Wi-Fi. We've got hotspots. We can tag off of our stuff, and we can do that. And I definitely want to do that. Michael says, remember going to Groom, Texas? They have the biggest. I've been there. Brother. I saw it. It's true. You can. I actually have been there in my travels. Diamond Crater State Park, also lots of crystals. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's ingrained in my brain. You know what I think about when I think of Arkansas, and I can't help it. It's not bad. It's a big company, but it's the Batesville Casket Company. Because a lot of the funeral homes in the region, that's where they would get their caskets, and you would see that on the side of the truck. So that's what kind of comes to my mind a lot of times. So, hey, somebody's got to build them, right? Murfreesboro, Arkansas. I'm familiar with Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Didn't know there was one in Murfreesboro. Spelled a little different. Murfreesboro, Arkansas. Arkansas. I love that Arkansas accent too. It's unique. There's nowhere else in the country have the accent quite like Arkansas. That is so cool. That little R sound, R. I can't recreate it, but definitely you hear it. But yeah, that's a cool place. I love it. Well, we have Mark too. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's good to be proud of your state. I hear these people bash, like I live in Georgia. They bash Georgia because of political leaders. You know what? Bash them. Don't bash the state. It's a beautiful state. Georgia has mountains and flatlands and swamps, beaches. I mean, it offers everything. This is a rich, or because of college football, they'll bash the whole state. Forget that crap. I'm not a Tennessee Vol fan, but I love the state of Tennessee. It's a beautiful state. I go vacation there. I love to drive through Tennessee and see some of those areas. Go into some of those state parks and Civil War sites, and I love that. Same thing with Mississippi and Alabama and South Carolina, North Carolina. I've been through all those states quite extensively, and I love it. And you should be proud of your area. You should highlight those things. And the more I can visit places like that, it just, I love history, and I love visiting places like that. The Natchez Trace, all that stuff. I just think that's cool. I said I lived in Georgia for years and come back time. Yeah, good. You're right, Michael. Arkansas has Walmart too. Well, if you're with the wife, she'll give you time to go. Yeah, we did have Bill Elliott. That's true. Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Um, Crystal Bridges Museum. I've never been there. I would like to. But I was going to say, if you travel with your wife, she's like, "Hey, honey, I'm going to drive through this state park or some history here, Daniel Boone State Park, whatever it is." Okay. How long are we going to be there? And do you know where the local Walmart is? Let's find it. So you do both. She'll let right through and like, yeah, this is nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Hey, can we find that Walmart now? The Crystal Bridges Museum. That's cool. I am on board with both of my. Cool. He's a good fella. His boy's pretty good too. Boy, I've been to Dawsonville, but I've never been to the garage. I guess they have a museum there. I don't know if they do or not. Tiffany Trump's grandparents live there. Yeah. It's cool. Hey, you know what? What is it? Ty Cobb's Museum, Georgia. Yeah, I like that. So, hey, I want to go to what is it? Alabama. There's one in Missouri and one in Alabama. The Throw Roll place where they do the throw the rolls. I want to go. I want to go. Some people say it's icky. No, hey, I want to see if I can catch the throw roll. I want to go. Yeah, Chase. We covered. My co-host is a big Chase fan on the Racing Hour, so he really likes talking about Chase. So Dawsonville is Elliotteville. Well, he put it on the map to a degree, I guess. Hey, he was the fan favorite. What, 15 straight years or something? Something like that. Most, what do they call that? What did they call that? It was what most liked, but it was something like that, wasn't it? Fan favorite, whatever they call it. He won that every year. He always had a smile on his face, old Bill. And as we were talking about in the racing show, he isn't he the one that went the fastest in a NASCAR before they restricted him down? I think it was him. Fast, 200 something, 212, something like that. I forget what it was exactly. But yeah, I love to travel. I don't really like to stay in the hotels. I wish I had my own travel trailer. The problem is finding somewhere to park it nowadays. A lot of these national parks, you gotta even some of the KOA stuff, you gotta schedule so far in advance, and sometimes you just can't get in a place to camp. But I would love to have my own. I just hate having to take everything out, take everything in, and plus you're staying in somebody else's deal. And I'd like to just go and stay at some of those places like that, little RV parks or camper spots or whatever. I would like to do that once I retire. We could take the podcast on the road, travel for 3 months or something. That would be cool. Michael said, I live close to the Allisons in Fairfield, Alabama. Like the Allisons. Very cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Michael, you're a man of has been around. You've done a lot of stuff in your life, brother. You really, really have. You got stories to share. That's cool. Michael's a good fellow. We worked together at one time. Hard working man. Tells it like it is. Straight down the line. He don't care who gets offended. He'll say it, the grace of God, but he'll still say it. I respect that about him. I like to shoot straight. You know what? Don't dance around. Tell me how you feel. Sometimes Rob can't handle that. When you come against his when he's on four, he he gets fired up. He's like, oh wait a minute now. He gets up on that microphone. I get tickled sometimes. I have to turn my head. I want to laugh. Sometimes I do. I can't help it. It's like, uh-oh. Well, I've said that many times too. I don't even know if I was jack of all trades. There's a lot of things I can't do. I certainly wasn't master of anything. Maybe that's why I do a podcast. I don't know. I can run my mouth. Hey, God bless all of you. There's a lot of people in here on a Saturday, and thank y'all for stopping by. We do a lot of different things here at the podcast. We're not just one thing. We do a lot of things. I've got to get the Jeb and Bubba show. I got to get that tomorrow. I hope to get that put together tomorrow. Please. I'm going to be watching race and putting together the third edition of the Jeb and Bubba show. And you know, Robert called out Uncle Jeb the other night. I don't know if Uncle Jeb will respond, but that was not a nice comment by Robert. That was not a nice comment. Talking about him rubbing his butt on the ground like a dog. I kind of think old Uncle Jeb just might respond in a very powerful way. And we're going to be adding other voices, other characters to the Jeb and Bubba show soon. The next edition will have Jeb and Bubba on screen at the same time. They've been doing more solo. This time, there's going to be more interaction between those two in the different skits and stuff, and some added music. There's some musical piece, a couple of musical pieces that happen in the show as well. And I hope you like the new Maga song that we put out. It's the first time that's played. I like how that turned out. It's southern rock kind of feel, kind of like that. That was good. We've been trying to have unique. We've always tried to have unique identities for each show, whether it's Mama Said, Front Porch, Hump Day, The Vent. It'll have its own song. Whether it's the morning shows, I have one that I use for mine. We have one for the ones between me and Rob, Cornbread Nation. Actually, I've have a new one for Cornbread. It's a new song. And then Maga. We're going to get one for each one, hopefully. So we're trying sports. We have one that we like for the racing. We've revamped the one for the sports show. And we're just trying to make that, they all have a unique character. They're all important to us. And next week, I'm going to do my best. I have been putting this off for some time. I want to have I remember that episode. I haven't done one in weeks. And we're going to talk about the assassination attempt of Ronald Reagan. I've been wanting to go back and really look at that and just talk about it. I would look for that this next week. I have been so wanting to do that. I'm going to make sure that happens. So lots going on to Southern Fried. Thank y'all for your support. Pray for us. We definitely need prayer. Pray for my wife. She's had a rough go. Last night she had slid down the floor. I went and got her picked up. She's okay. She's giving me a thumbs up as I came back to the studio. I got a wonderful wife. She fully supports everything we're doing. She doesn't want to be on camera. She does not want to be on camera. So very out of concern was saying, bring her to the studio. Now, she has sat in the studio once or twice. Usually, though, she'll just watch online. It's kind of hard for her to get back to the studio. But she does not want to be on camera. Most people don't. It's really hard to find people that don't mind being on camera. If I was audio, probably more people would do it, but a lot of people don't like that. You have to get over that phobia, fear, whatever. Just don't care. But she's fully supported. She loves what we do. She's my biggest fan of the Jeb and Bubba show. She absolutely loves the puppets and laughs every time. My wife's always been a big fan of mascots and puppets. She could get hours of entertainment out of something like that. So I'll play something for her, and if she laughs at it, it's it. I don't care what anybody else says. If she didn't laugh, I would throw it on I'd cut it, throw it on the floor. But if my wife will give me that laugh, that smile, it's all good. I don't care what anybody else says. So I don't. I really don't. It's like I don't care. So we have a lot of Chinese, believe it or not, that like Jeb and Bubba. They absolutely love Jeb and Bubba. Yeah, I just noticed, Michael, you've got a new profile picture in your Rumble. I just now noticed that. I kept thinking, I thought, what looks different on screen? And it shows up well. But yeah, you've got a different profile picture. We appreciate you being in here. We're going to close in just a minute. I do have to get ready for work. What's that? Oh, that's that thing we do. We all work, unless we're retired. I'm a few years away from retirement. Planning it, though. Be full-time media. Full-time. We're kind of full-time now. We run the hours of full-time, but we're not full-time. I will be, though, a few short years. If the good Lord gives me the health, we'll be full-time. But we produce 20 to 25 shows a week and have hit 30, small to big, 1 hour, 2 hours, half hours. Some are minutes long, but we produce all that and more every week. We love to do it. We're not bragging. We just enjoy what we do, and we enjoy coming on and being with you. Have a great day out there. Enjoy your Saturday, however you enjoy it. That's a freedom, right? And if you go down the road and the police pull you over and ask you where you're going, say none of your business, respectfully. None of your business. This is America. I don't have to show papers at the state line or the county line or the city line. Just going. So, but we want to say that respectfully, because we should be respectful to each other. God bless Rumble. God bless Rumble. I love Rumble. They're so great. Appreciate all the ones that come in from different Instagram. Thank you for all of you on Instagram today, X, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Lord knows I'm going to leave out somebody. I'm sure of it. But we appreciate Telegram. We're really trying to amp up our Telegram channel and get it really where it needs to be. Our website's coming along. We're really excited about that. Lots of things in the hopper, as they say. We're trying to get done. We'll get out of here with some music. We'll play a couple songs. And have a great day. Salute to you. And don't let nobody steal your joy today. Don't let them do it. The joy stealers, there's a bunch of them out there. They like to steal your joy. Don't let them do it. Just say, as we say in the South, bless your heart. And move on. Amen? And join us in the morning if you get up. Your church before church. Sunday morning in the Word. We'll talk about something. And have coffee. And coffee and Jesus. And we'll get up and talk about something in relation to our faith before we go to church. And tomorrow night we'll have shows as well. And hopefully get Jeb and Bubba show completed tomorrow. While we watch the race, they're at Michigan. Enjoy it. Me and Dean on Tuesday night. And at some point next week, and James probably showing in too, but at some point during the weekend or the week, it'll be James and it'll be and Dean as well as myself for the sports show. And our tagline, I like our tagline for the sports show. We talk all sports all the time. We don't have seasons. We just have sports. That's true. We'll talk about it. It don't matter if everybody says, that's out of season. Why are you talking about it? Because we want to. Because we want to. We like our sports. Deep here in the South, we like our college football, but we'll talk soccer, hockey. Don't matter to me. Basketball, baseball. If you don't like none of it, just listen and laugh at us. It's all good. We'll see you next time. It's Dave the AM, a.k.a. the Cornbread Man. See ya.
They try to steal my grab a sweet tea in your hand on a worn-out rocker with a view of this southern land. I got the crickets singing low and the fireflies in the sky. It's front porch talking time, let the world roll by. It's time to sit down with a little front porch talking with our friends Robert and David, a Southern Fried Podcast. They're gonna talk about Donald Trump, they're gonna talk Maga, but they're keeping it real like only Southern boys can. You might agree or you might just sigh, but they're Southern Fried till the day they die. A little gospel, a little grit, and a whole lot of pride. They speak from the heart, never got nothing to hide. From D.C. to Dixie, they'll stir up the stew. If it ruffles your feathers, well, that's what they do. It's time to sit down with a little front porch talking with our friends Robert and David, a Southern Fried Podcast. They're gonna talk about Donald Trump, they're gonna talk MAGA, but they're keeping it real like only Southern boys can. You might cheer or you might ask why, but they're Southern Fried till the day they die. They got stories, opinions, and a joke or two. Laid back truth with a country point of view. So pull up a chair, don't let the night slip by. There's wisdom in that old southern sky. Yeah, it's time to sit down with a little front porch talking with our friends Robert and David, the Southern Fried Podcast. They're gonna talk about Donald Trump, they're gonna talk MAGA, but they're laughing and living and loving the land. You might stay or just stop by, but they're Southern Fried till the day they die. Yeah, they're Southern Fried till the day they die. Uncle Jeb's got his overalls on, he's hauling down the lane. Georgia Bubba's hiding his face, thinking, here we go again. Jeb's got a jug of moonshine, stories too wild to tell. Bubba's blushing, but laughing, he knows Jeb's raising hell. Oh, Uncle Jeb, you're crazy as they come, yelling at the rooster like the world's come undone. Bubba shakes his head, but deep down he knows life's sweeter with Jeb wherever he goes. They fished down at the creek, Jeb lost his right boot. Hollered that dang catfish just stole my Sunday suit. Bubba rolled his eyes but stayed by his old friend's side. Through all those wild misadventures, it's a heck of a ride. Oh, Uncle Jeb, you're crazy as they come, yelling at the rooster like the world's come undone. Bubba shakes his head, but deep down he knows life's sweeter with Jeb wherever he goes. They fished down at the creek, Jeb lost his right boots. Hollered that dang catfish just stole my Sunday suit. Bubba rolled his eyes but stayed by his old friend's side. Through all those wild misadventures, it's a heck of a ride. Oh, Uncle Jeb, you're crazy as they come, yelling at the rooster like the world's come undone. Bubba shakes his head, but deep down he knows life's sweeter with Jeb wherever he goes. Bubba knows someday these tales will fade to dust, but even through his grumbles, Jeb has earned his trust. Forever shout and holler, there's a twinkle in his eye, and Bubba wouldn't trade him, not till the day he dies. Down at the county fair, Jeb's dancing with the pigs. Bubba tries to pull him out, but Jeb's just doing jigs. Let him laugh, Georgia Bubba. Jeb bellows through the dirt. Life ain't about looking pretty, it's about grass stains on your shirt. Oh, Uncle Jeb, you're crazy as they come, yelling at the rooster like the world's come undone. Bubba shakes his head, but deep down he knows life's sweeter with Jeb wherever he goes.